Hey guys, subscribe for daily content. And if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got 5 more extremely cool knives for you guys to check out when you get a chance. Some of these knives are available right now, some of them are not, but the point is to make you aware of them when they become available in the future. Thanks so much to my patrons for supporting me, and please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. Let's go ahead and start off here with the first one. Very interesting. This is the new Riot, PLXT. Oh my gosh. I definitely did not expect Riot to make something at this price point, but they have done a phenomenal job with it. We have a lock that operates from the pivot, a lot like the thing that CRKT came out with, and it was a cool idea, but the problem was it just wasn't all that smooth. Riot has perfected the position of this lock, but the way that the lock operates is different. You also have a switch that allows the lock to become indefinitely locked out, so you can't accidentally disengage it, which is cool because in the choke up position, you do have your index finger right there on the lock. So that's really neat. These are a combination of micarta, very nicely fit. I mean, it's all premium Riot, right? That's the nice thing, is that it's very, very, even though these are materials that you can find in budget knives, it's got the Riot treatment to it. So we have micarta, we have steel liners, we have this beautiful, in this case, a copper wash finished blade. Riot, do more of these. Holy crap, people want these. I mean, come on. Geez, these are awesome. You do have other blade finish options. I think it's a little bit difficult to find the copper wash ones, but wow, these are cool. Nitro V, all really great. These come in at about $117. Now, that's going to be really expensive for a lot of people. A lot of people that are familiar with the knife world are going to say those materials you can find them in the budget world and for a lot less money. But this does feel like a knife that costs over $100. And honestly, I think they did a really good job with it. That lock is solid, and it is so easy to manipulate. This is such a cool knife. Now, they have a bigger one coming with a flipper tab, and I've got that one here too, and it's okay, but honestly, I want the bigger one with the thumb studs because I think they work better when you're deploying this knife. The way that the D10 operates, I think, is better suited for a thumb stud. I'm just really, really impressed with this thing. I think it's awesome, and I would love for Riot to continue to tackle this territory because they've been kind of, specifically in the 300 plus territory of the knife world. So anyways, really cool. Definitely check this one out. Moving on here, a knife that is much more expensive, but definitely very impressive. And this is the Mr. Designs Cypher. And in this case, I think it's the D variant. Very similar to the TRM Atom, but as I showcased in the unboxing, the lines are actually different. It's just very similar. It's not enough to be an exact duplicate, but really, really cool. We have contoured carbon fiber, really nice carbon fiber here too. We have a hand rub satin finish tanto. In this case, you can get it in a drop point blade. We have a beautifully nested liner lock. The nice thing about this knife is how much blade you're getting for how much weight you're carrying. You're really getting a very large overall knife. I'll go ahead and measure it for you here real quick. Coming in at 8¼ inches with 3.65 inches of blade and 3.5 inches of cutting edge. And the cool thing is the weight on this guy is super light considering everything is mostly carbon fiber with a little bit of, steel with the liner lock, but 3.5 ounces. Now, obviously there are knives out there that have, better ratios, but really this is a lightweight, fairly compact folding knife with a really nice overall design, and it is incredibly comfortable. Now, I'm not in love with the price tag at about $280. I really think that could have been lower, but the knife is definitely cool, and that's all that I need in terms of the criteria for this video. I think it's very, very well done in terms of manufacturing quality. It is spot on, laser perfect. It's everything that you would want, and it is very easy to manipulate. Surprisingly, the flipper tab is really satisfying. Sometimes when these sort of low profile flipper tabs are done, they just don't quite do it. You're not ready for the flip, so to speak. You don't really feel like you're getting the full launch because you're not able to put the amount of force in it that you would want to. Not with this guy. It actually feels really good. And that's great because it's your only option for deployment. We have a mounting position for lefties as well. You can see that the clip, which is the wire clip, I know not everybody loves that, but hey, you can flip it over. Lefties, you can manipulate this. I'm a right-handed person. You can see here this is super easy to manipulate. So check this one out for sure. Moving on here, I think this is one that'll make a lot of people happy. This is the new MaxAce Peregrine 2. So the previous Peregrine, if you're not familiar with MagSafe, easily one of the best premium Chinese OEMs on earth. Easily. It's so easy for me to say that. It is so true. The other Peregrine that they did, the original one, was super nice. And it was almost like an evolution of the Sebenza. Great, but $280. Honestly, a fair price considering what they did. I think that was polished Sanmai ZDP 189. Beautiful carbon fiber inlays. What they've done here with the Peregrine 2 is they've kind of made a similar profile, but they've reduced the cost dramatically. This is $90 less. $90 less than its original older brother. Compound blade this time, which is honestly just cool factor. I don't know necessarily that the people picking this up are going to make a whole lot of use of that. I mean, if you need a compound blade, then hey, knock yourself out. It's got a compound blade. The cool thing here, this guy still runs on washers, which I love. There's a lot of people out there that believe that a sign of luxury or a sign of the appropriate tier in the knife world is past a certain price point. It's got to be bearings. That is completely and totally incorrect, and those people don't know what they're talking about. Bearings, washers, nylon, it's a preference. It comes down to what the goal of the manufacturer/designer was and what they think their users want in a knife. There are pros and cons to both. Bearings generally will achieve a smoother, more drop-shutty action, but they don't do a great job of keeping debris out of the pivot in a dusty or dirty environment. Washers, including nylon, do a much better job of keeping debris out of the pivot, and it requires substantially less maintenance. They're also self-lubricating. In the case of the MagSafe Peregrine, MagSafe has already done a really good job of making sure those surfaces on the inside are polished so you can easily deploy this knife. You're not going to get that satisfying drop shuttiness, but it is nice and smooth, and you can rest assured that the internals for the pivot are completely shut off from dust and debris. That's awesome. M390 blade, titanium scales, titanium pocket clip, titanium backspacer for $188. Yeah, that's super competitive. MagSafe continues to knock it out of the park with their knives. I am very impressed with the Peregrine 2, and I think that you will be as well. Let's move on to the highlight, almost certainly the knife I used in the thumbnail, and that's the Riot exo-u or Riot exo utility. Now, you can go down to Home Depot and buy a Husky whatever, something, just the most boring utility knife in the whole world, and that's fine, right? But if you're watching my channel, you're probably bored of that crap and looking for something a little bit more interesting, even if it does accomplish essentially the same job. Welcome to the knife world. We are aware of that irony. The Riot exo-u is the same thing that we enjoy about the Riot exo, which is the fact that it is a gravity knife, except you are not bound by a single blade. You can literally use the replaceable utility blades that you find on the Home Depot stuff or whatever, right? Your common utility knives. I think that's awesome. I think this is a really, really good idea. I love this. I've made this comment many times after getting the exo-m with the locking system, because we all know the original exo did not have the locking system and definitely needed it. I was so surprised at how well that knife worked as an EDC knife. It was unbelievably convenient, and there was a huge benefit, of course, to the blade nesting completely inside of the handle. You could actually have a sharpened edge on both sides, effectively doubling the potential edge retention of whatever composition you chose for your knife. This guy does not have a double edge, but it does maintain the cool factor of having the blade completely and totally sink into the handle, adding a little bit of fidget factor. On top of that, this is also made by Riot, meaning it has all of the excellent fit and finish stuff that you would expect. The handles this time around, to my knowledge, are going to be made of aluminum, and that means, number one, they'll be less expensive than the exos or exo-ms, and number two, we have a lot more colors available to us. Now, these aren't going to be for everybody, but if you like the idea of replaceable, you're not going to exchange them. Replaceable blades, right? And the fidget factor and cool factor of the Riot exo, this actually works super well and it'll definitely impress your friends, right? I mean, like, you're still gonna have that guy that's like, oh, it's totally unnecessary. Oh, I'm a man of utility and minimalism. And shut up, Larry from Parts. This is cool, This is cool, and it'll make people smile. It'll make you smile. It's a fun knife. I don't know exactly when this is going to be available, and I honestly don't know exactly how much it's going to cost. This was sent to me by Crane's Cutlery to sample, so I would suggest that you check there, but there's a number of retailers that will probably carry this when it comes out. I'm certain that it will be very popular. And then finally, I have something completely and totally ridiculous to share with you guys. This is a knife you've probably seen on my live streams, on my YouTube shorts, and maybe even on my Instagram. It's not available yet, but it will definitely be available at some point at Tools for Gents, and that's the Midgard's Messer Boss prototype. Oh my God, what is going on with the folks at Midgard's Messer? Look at this. This is ridiculous. Listen, Midgard's Messer is already known for making gigantic, hulking monstrosities, and they do it on purpose. People who want to point out that this is not a practical tool. You think? I bet Midgard's Messer knows that. You think that they tripped and fell and whoops-a-daisy, I made a gigantic 2-pound knife. No, they know exactly what they're doing. Thank you. This is for people like me who understand that basic utility comes in an entirely different aesthetic package, right? But still enjoys, the little kid who used to go to the flea markets, still enjoys this crazy overbuilt Mall Ninja stuff. On top of that, it is made so well. It's so funny how big and clunky and hulking these things look. And you get them in hand and you realize this was very precision machined. I mean, it is legitimately precision machined everywhere. 2 huge slabs of titanium and a beautiful, literally near mirror polished blade. How are they doing this? I really hope this is an indication of where Midgard's Messer plans to go in the future with their at least optional blade finishes. In the past, they have done some nice tumbled finishes. They can really do a nice tumbled finish. I think in the past, if you didn't know, their folders in the past were actually OEM'd by Concept, right? Which is not very well known. A lot of people think all Midgard's Messer knives are made in Germany. They're custom fixed blades. Definitely. They have a couple of production knives that are made in Italy. Most of these folders made by Kunwu. This one, not sure who OEM'd it, right? But it wouldn't surprise me. I'm not Kunwu. There's so many K OEMs. Concept. There's Kunwu, there's Concept, and there's Kaiser. So cut me some slack. But it wouldn't surprise me if it's still Concept. In any case, we have 2 little locking pins or studs on the outside. We have 2 huge screws for the lock bar insert here. And you better believe, honestly, I feel like I'm going to break my table impacting the spine there. But the main highlight here is this absolutely ridiculous high-polished compound tanto blade. This knife is huge. In fact, I just barely zoomed out enough to showcase it. The overall length of the Boss prototype. Again, that word prototype, that means I can't give you a direct link for this. It's not available yet, but I want people to be aware of it. For people who want to pick this up, I want you guys to be aware so that way, when the time comes for it to drop, they don't come and go and then people find out 2 months later and go, what? I'm trying to make people aware. The overall length of the Boss prototype is coming in at, wow, 11.25 inches, unless you want to go all the way to the back of the backspacer / small digging tool that's attached to the butt cap. And then we'd be at about 11.75 inches, almost a 12-inch knife with, that's a good 5-inch blade, maybe 5 1/8. And your cutting edge is also just about 5 inches, 4.9 inches. Absolutely absurd. It is definitely a finger guillotine. This is one, and oh my gosh, the locking sound on this. God bless everyone involved with this project. This is so cool. It is a thing to behold. It is a thing that will put a smile on your face for a very different reason that the exo-u will put a smile on your face. This is the friend impressor. This is, Uncle Larry who's seen it all. He ain't seen this, I promise you. This is an absolute powerhouse tank with a blade nearing 1/4 inch. Honestly don't know what the blade is made out of. And even if I speculated, it wouldn't matter because this is a prototype. The final production version will have something different. It could be CPMD2, could be S30V. They've used those steels in the past. I'm hoping for maybe S35VN or S45VN. That'd be cool, but hey, what are you going to do? In any case, it sticks with the true Midgard's Messer theme of just being a hulking beast. How much does it weigh? Funny you should ask. I can't remember. I'm going to weigh it for you guys here. Wow, it weighs 17.67 ounces, making it even heavier than my PMP Alpha Beast, coming in about over an ounce less. This is a huge knife. I would not be shocked if this thing ends up costing over $500, but truthfully, I don't know. It's a prototype. I just want you guys to be available. Check out Tools for Gents. This is where the Midgard's Messer stuff comes from. That's definitely your best bet. So once again, we have the Midgard's Messer Boss prototype. We have the Riot exo-u. We have the Max Ace Peregrine. We have the Mr. Designs Cypher, and I think Cypher D. And then we have the new Riot PLXT, if I'm remembering the name correctly. Everything will be linked down in the description as much as I can for your convenience. Again, it helps my channel when you use those links, but that's up to you. That's going to be it for today, guys. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like. So check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.